Hi, I'm Mint Shoemaker, and today is day 61 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on spontaneity. So, yay for day 61. Um, I think I did a lot of spontaneous things today, things out of the ordinary. Um, I, I didn't want to get out of bed, which is not a spontaneous thing for me. But I checked my email for whatever reason when I couldn't sleep because my phone keeps randomly making this sound like I got a message and there isn't one, which is really annoying me. So, anyway, I couldn't sleep, so I was checking my phone and I decided to check my email. And I did get an email back from my landlord's daughter about my book. So she requested that I send her the first three chapters. So I actually, instead of just sending them to her, I actually sat there and read through the first three chapters of my book and made a couple minor changes just to make it a little bit better. And then I copied and pasted and put it in the document she wanted. So she could review the first three chapters of my book. So I was like, okay, that's cool. And then I sent out some text messages to people for church, about church stuff. And that was kind of fun stuff I should have done before. And then my writing group is tomorrow, and I forgot that I haven't got anybody to do the thought or the lesson. So I started sending out text messages to remind people we have a meeting tomorrow and ask if anybody wanted to do stuff last minute. Wasn't that fun of me? So, I mean, that's something I should have done quite a while ago and I just didn't. So I figured that kind of counts as being spontaneous. And then I did all of my stuff so I could go to work. And I forgot that there was a church activity at work today. And someone kept texting me. And then they texted me something that wasn't meant for me. Which it really kind of confused me because she said that she was getting ready to go. And the earlier the better. And I was like, go where? The earlier the better. Are we supposed to meet somewhere? Are we supposed to be doing something? I was really confused. So then I started racking my brain for what I was supposed to be doing tonight. And then I remember there was a church activity for Relief Society tonight. And I was like, oh, yeah, there's one of those. And then, of course, I went to the wrong building because I thought it was one building and it was another one because I didn't have my invitation with me and I didn't look it up. I just drove to where I thought it was going to be because I was late. I was late because I was on the other side of town because I'd gone to work, and then I'm like, okay, well, now I got to stop work so I can go to the activity. My day was all kinds of spontaneous, but fun, right? And then I went to the activity, which was fun. A lot of spontaneity there too. And then someone from church that I was talking to her. She's been assigned a different calling now, and I was talking to her about that. And then she just randomly mentioned the fact that she's like, asked me about my books. Like, what am I writing? What am I working on? I was like, I don't remember telling you that I was working on writing a book, but okay, sure. I don't know who I tell these things to, and I don't know how many other people tell other people what I'm doing, or how many people watch my videos that I comment about my books or my writing. So I was like, okay, sure, why not? We'll do this. Why not? So I told her that I had one that was finished, sort of finished. I'm just looking for beta readers, trying to figure out if it's ready to be edited and published or if it needs some more revisions before it gets to that point. Um, so I offered to email it to her, and she was like, oh, I would love something new to read. That would be awesome. And then, of course, we got interrupted because we were playing some kind of weird get to know you game. Kind of like speed dating, only speed get to know you because we're all sisters in Relief Society and some are married with kids and all of that. So it's just more like, hey, we just want to get to know everybody that's here. And since there's a whole bunch of us, that's all. And we had like a minute to do it. And the person that next to me kept pushing me. She was joking around, so I kind of joked around and was teasing her back for doing that. So it was actually kind of fun to just kind of play around tonight. I don't get to do that very often, I don't think. So it was really kind of a fun social thing for me. I enjoyed it. It was awesome. So, and yeah, I think that's. And then I came home because I didn't have time after that to go back to work before I had to go to the temple. So then I decided that I was going to, if I'm sending out the first book in the series to someone that could possibly edit and or publish it, and I'm sending it off to other people to beta read it, I'm like, they're going to want to read the second book after the first one, right? So I need to write the second book or finish rewriting the second book, I should say. So I opened it up, and it's been a while since I worked on it. Apparently it's been almost a year, which is so sad. It's been that long since I've done my writing. So I started actually reading through it. And it was kind of annoying because my landlord's roommate started making a whole bunch of noise, turned his TV up really loud. But I just said a little prayer, and I just asked Holy Father to help me to just focus on the book that I was doing and to block out the other sound. And I'm telling you, it's a miracle. Honestly, it's a miracle because I always get so fixated on the noise and what's bothering me that I can't seem to do anything else. And it drives me crazy, and it just builds up in me. And I get angrier and angrier and more tense. And instead, I focused all of that into my book, and I blocked out what was going on. Like, I could hear it, but it was like background noise, and I was just not paying attention because it was loud enough I could make out what they were saying on the TV, and I was blocking it out. So, I mean, sometimes it just sounds mumbled and blah, 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 but sometimes you can actually make out words and stuff like that. So, anyway, I was just somehow, miracle, like I said, God just made it so I could block out the noise, so I could just focus on reading. I just read through the first 2 chapters. I think I've done them quite a few times at this point. I'm like, oh, they're pretty good. I might have made 1 or 2 changes. I think I added like a sentence to something because I think it needed it, because I read it a couple of times, and I was like, I made a big deal about it like in a couple of paragraphs before, and then I just acted like it didn't exist. So I'm like, I think I need to put something in here. And then later I think it was okay to leave it out. So I made it. Anyway, so I did that, and it's kind of it's one of those things where you have to do things in a certain order, or think things in a certain order, and I just didn't want to have to describe what they were doing every single time they did it, because it's kind of the same thing. But so I didn't emphasize as much, but I put something in there for the second time. Then the third time I just was like, yeah, we're good. I think people know what's going on. So I hope the reader knows what's going on. But if it ends up being a confusion thing, I can always go back and add it for clarification purposes. But it's also one of those things, I think if you read it through it, you'll figure it out and be like, oh yeah, that's what they're doing. So anyway, I'm trying not to give away what I wrote in my book, because that takes all the fun out of it while explaining that I did something with my writing. But it was nice to just read it, and then I'm thinking, hey, I should start working on my writing again. This will be cool, because I want to finish this book now, and then decide if I want to write. Because it's a book that my mentor used to tell me that I could split into 3 books, possibly. But if I split it into 3 books, it would just be like the last couple of chapters that I would leave off, and I would just have them be the beginning of the other 2 books. And then I would have to create the whole rest of the other 2 books, which I haven't created in my head. And I have so many other stories already created in my head. I just don't know how much time I want to spend on these ones. But I guess it just depends on how I'm feeling. And I know that I don't have to stick to one story. I literally have like 6 books that I'm in the middle of writing. So just whichever one I'm in the mood for, whichever one spirit strikes, whatever, I can work on that as long as I'm working on my books. And eventually they'll all get written, and hopefully eventually they'll all get published. That would be even more amazing. So anyway, it was just kind of fun and spontaneous to be excited about my writing again today, and have several opportunities tonight at this church activity to talk about my books and talk about my writing, and even met someone else who's actually written several books, and she was telling me about her books, and I'm like, that's so awesome. And then I got poked by the other person there. It's like, hey, your time is up, but you don't get to finish hearing about this person and what they're doing. And I was like, dang it, I want to learn more. I want to know more. Mostly I just want to know, like, can you help me with mine? Because I'm a little bit selfish. But also I thought it was just really amazing. I'm like, I don't know this sister very well. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that you were writing all these books. I didn't know how them all published. And she's like, oh yeah, I've got like 4 out there. I've just finished 5, but it's still, I think she's probably still in the revision stage of that book. And she's like, oh, they're on Amazon, so you can buy them. I'm like, oh my gosh, you have a whole series of books. That is so cool. So now I'm curious, but I don't remember the titles of any of her books. So I also don't remember her name, which is really bad. So I'm gonna have to look that up so I can figure it out. But I think it'll be really cool. Anyway, that is a lot of spontaneous things for tonight. So, yay, a lot of spontaneity things, and very excited about that. So, anyway, that's all I have for today. Just really grateful for the little reminders, and I think a lot of my spontaneity things got me doing social things, so that was good, and I am grateful for that. So, yay for spontaneity that gets me to do social things. Yay for recognizing that there's lots of spontaneous things going on in my life every day, and just yay because I think I'm just listening to those little promptings that God is giving me of things for me to do, that it's keeping me nice and busy, but it just makes me feel good about myself. Like I feel like I'm accomplished and I'm doing stuff and I have stuff to share with other people and other people have stuff to share with me and we can learn from each other, and I love that, and I loved getting to know people and having people, be willing to help me and things like that. So just all around a good day, lots of spontaneity, having fun. So that's what I have for today. If you like these videos, you can hit like, subscribe, share with someone else if you think they'll like it too. And I hope you have a great day full of gratitude and maybe find something fun and spontaneous to do.